And just like that, the NASCAR Cup Series season is set to begin once again, the unofficial kickoff to the 2025 season at Bowman Gray Stadium. Of course, here in Phoenix, we're already looking forward to NASCAR Championship Weekend, October 31st through November 2nd. You can't get the championship, though, without starting the season. Join us here on the Inside Lane to preview the start of the season is a two-time International Karting Federation Grand National Champion, a three-time NASCAR Cup Series winner, and a 2025 inductee to the West Coast Stock Car Motorsports Hall of Fame. Driver of the College Racing number 16 Chevrolet from Los Gatos, California, it's AJ Allmendinger. AJ, thanks for joining me.
Wow, that was a hell of an intro.
You deserve a hell of an intro, man. You've done quite a few things, and obviously we need to get you back to intro ready, AJ, for the season, right?
I like that you started from the beginning to the end there, from karting to, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So
yeah,
we got it all
hell of an
covered.
intro for hell of accomplishments.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you being here. You've done a lot throughout your career. You've been many, many places, but one place that's probably still a little bit new to you is being a father. Only your second offseason with Areo with you and your wife, Tara. Can you fill me some of the highlights of Aero's second offseason with AJ?
Yeah, he's crazy. Like he's got, I feel so bad for Tara because she's basically got two to take care of now. Like it's full energy, no sleep. It's nonstop and doesn't want to sit still, wants to be doing something. And it's been a lot of fun. It's crazy. Like, you just look back even, it feels like, 3, 4, 5 months ago. And I guess it's kind of the way it goes for parenthood, but he seems so grown up compared to just a few months ago. But it's been a lot of fun. Christmas was kind of hilarious. It's like he opened the first present and like he was locked into that. He had, the whole house was basically his of presents and he locked into that first one and wouldn't even come open other ones. So, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work for sure. And as I said, it's more feel bad for Tara because she's got two boys with a lot of energy that just are nonstop.
Well, I think it might be even scarier for Tara once he puts like a racing helmet on. But I did notice that he just got one helmet off, a special helmet. He was born with a skull condition called Craniosynostosis, and son, that fellow NASCAR driver Ryan Vargas, a condition that he was born with as well. So I wanted to talk to you about that community and what, in a way, that has impacted you. Watching Areo go through this as a young infant, and then something that, like Ryan Vargas, something that you carry with you for the rest of your life is kind of a badge of pride.
Yeah, for sure. And it's with that whole community, as it happened, pretty much as soon as Areo was born, you could kind of see it. And, you don't know much about it initially, and you start reading into it. And the community side of it, that was something that Tara and I, and especially Tara, because she was constantly in chat rooms and on websites and stuff. And as people saw, as we updated it, as Areo went through all of it, it felt like we were helping a lot of people understand it. Because it's scary, right? Like you have a newborn and next thing you know, they're having surgery on their head and their skull. But the doctor that we had, he told us right away, he's like, oh, it's way worse for you two. Like he's not even going to know. And it really was like he was in surgery, was out of surgery quick and like bouncing around and had no idea that it just happened. And we were nervous wrecks. So he's graduated from the helmet and he's doing well, but definitely something. And Ryan had reached out to me as we, put it on X and Instagram and kind of was going through the journeys. So definitely something that we got educated on and hopefully we help more people understand it. And it's scary, but you get them with the right people and it's super easy. And they don't even, I would say the only issue with it is the fact that he got very confident with a helmet on. So the helmet came off. The confidence is still there. So it's more running around the house trying to make sure he doesn't just bounce his head off stuff, because for a long time he could do that and had no idea that it hurt.
Oh man, and I'm sure that when I talked to you in Las Vegas, you were disappointed that You didn't get a trophy in Las Vegas with Areo there. He wasn't at the race. So now I'm sure that you're excited to try to go to get a Cup Series trophy and have Areo at the racetrack. First season back at full-time Cup racing after a year off, back in the Xfinity Series. Is there anything you miss in particular about being a full-time Cup Series driver?
I honestly, and I don't know if I'm kind of in the minority of it or what. I just really enjoy driving the Cup car. There's definitely things that aero-wise and just how they race that NASCAR keeps continually trying to work on. We're trying to make better for us, for the fans. But in general, I actually enjoy driving the Cup car, not just on road courses, but on ovals. Obviously, like anything, there's tracks that we enjoy more than others, but that's the biggest thing, and just getting kind of back in the flow of just full-time Cup racing. But that's where I've been fortunate enough. It's not like I haven't driven the car a lot over, in last year. We still did. I don't even know what it was, 15, 18 races. So I got a good feel of the car and kind of what direction the team went as the year went on. I thought we kept making improvements. The stuff we've done in the offseason, it's really, I don't want to say it's the first time like being super pumped about the direction that we're heading, but the first year as we got this car, like we didn't really even have a Cup program. We were trying to put it together and get to Daytona. Last year I felt like we obviously had to take a step back a little bit in certain ways, but this year it's kind of full steam ahead of people that we're adding, some of the things that we're doing. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's, I don't know how you don't know until you kind of get early on in the season how it's going to help, but they've put a lot of effort in the offseason in the Cup program, the most effort I think we've put into it, and hopefully it helps.
And this is a long, grueling season, now at over 40 years old doing this full time. What kind of investment do you personally have to make to consistently maintain the title of best hair in the garage? I know it takes work, and you're still looking great. So what does that take through 40 weeks of racing to keep that title all year long?
Well, I mean, I laugh because it's between last year and then, a couple years ago when I was full-time in the Xfinity Series. I just say I'm actually cut my schedule down because, 2 out of the last 3 years, I've done like 50, 52 races. So I'm actually just taking less. Now, don't get me wrong, it's less off weekends for sure, but I'm doing less races this year. So, it's no different. You just try to focus on your health in the off season, trying to, be the best prepared that you can be. Once you get in the flow of the season, your body's used to being in the car every weekend and things like that. To me, it's not a huge difference. In certain ways, it'll be easier just because we don't have any Xfinity races planned this year. So I can just focus on one car each weekend and not have to kind of split my time up in a lot of races. So I think that's something that'll be even a little bit easier than I've dealt with last year.
You didn't answer the question about the hair.
Oh, the hair.
You're built, you're great, but I need tips, dude.
Yeah, it's perfect gel to hair ratio. So, knock on wood, I still have most of my hair, and we're not losing that. So hopefully it stays like that.
And to kick off the season, unofficially, we begin the 2025 season at Bowman Gray Stadium. You've ran open wheel, you've ran karting, you've done all these different things. You've raced at some of the most iconic venues in motorsports across the nation. Where do you think Bowman Gray kind of stacks up in all the places you've been to in your life?
Probably the most different that I've ever been to. It's I've never been there on the racetrack. I've sat there in the grandstands. It's a unique racetrack, and even just comparing it to like the Coliseum, from the way it looks and we've done a little bit of sim time on it, it's way more narrow than the Coliseum. And it's crazy to think about like that, a football stadium like that you're building a racetrack in. But, like the Coliseum, the straightaways were actually pretty wide. Now the corners were really sharp. It seems like Bowman Gray, the corners are longer, but straightaway wise and just the width of the racetrack is super tight. And it's even tighter now that they've added the safer barriers to the racetrack. So we are going to be beating and banging on each other constantly. I'm sure be a lot of people pissed off at each other. It should be a lot of entertainment for everybody watching. For the drivers, I think there'll be some fun. I think we'll be upset. But, it's for the Clash, this is what it needs to be, right? It's an exhibition race. We're there for the trophy and the money. And I like over the last couple of years that they've done it at different places like the Coliseum and now Bowman Gray. It doesn't need to be at Daytona. We don't need more super speedway racing. It doesn't need to be on a road course. This is what the Clash should be. And it's going to be a lot of fun, but I'm figuring out how much, Excedrin or things like that I'm going to have to take, because it's going to be a lot of running into each other, getting run into, and it's going to be constant. So hopefully we can have a good practice session, because practice is our qualifying. I think our final session kind of determines where we line up in the heat races. The heat race is only 25 laps, so it's short. So hopefully we can have a good practice/qualifying session, start near the front, and hopefully make it directly into the through the heat races, because the 2 years that I've done this, I've had to run the B main, and that is miserable. So we're trying to make it through the heat race.
And before I let you go, real quick, I was, reading up, looking at some old stuff. I've interviewed you so many times. How in the world did I not know that your dad raced dirt in California? Was it sprint cars, midgets? Where were you going to when you were a kid? I didn't know you were a dirt guy. We're going to Chico, parents. I didn't know this about you. I don't know how.
We were doing all of it. We were doing Ascot. We were doing Baylands. We were doing San Jose. But my dad didn't. My dad raced like micro midgets and different kind of dirt vehicles. I honestly always thought two things. First, I wanted to be a supercross rider. That to me is still my ultimate. I'm staying up on NBC and Peacock and USA till midnight, 1 a.m, watching those when they're on the West Coast right now. So it's to this day still my favorite form of racing. It's what I wanted to do. I loved Ricky Johnson and then Jeff Stanton and then McGrath and on down the line. So I raced BMX bikes, and that's what I was going to do. My mom said, "Hell no, you're not doing that. We're going 4-wheel route." And then I just thought I would race sprint cars or something, because that's literally, I was either watching my dad or we were at a World of Outlaws event, or back on the West Coast, they were called NARC events, different sanctioning bodies. So that was what we were always doing. I raced against the Kadings, Bud and Tim, and quarter midgets. My dad was friends with Brent Kading. So kind of thought, and it never happened, honestly. I don't know really why. I kind of went through quarter midgets in karting, and that's kind of the path I got on. But yeah, it's my dad still to this day, every day is on Flow TV watching some sort of dirt event.
Well, I tell you what, go talk to Kyle Larson, hop in a sprint car real quick just for Bakersfield, for Parrish, for Highland Sprint Car Series. You'll do great. You'll do great.
So here's the problem. I've actually had opportunities to run the Chili Bowl. I think I'm old enough now. I just really don't want to flip that much, because I do know as I'm learning it, I'm not very smart, and I get more panicked about not being very good at it. So I'm just going to toss it in there, trying to run the cushion, and I know I'll be flipping over the fence like that. So I love watching it. Let's put it that way. I'm going to stay doing that.
Well, I'm glad I found this out about y'all. I like to pick out my dirt people. I didn't know you were one of them, but good to talk to you, AJ. Always a blast chatting with you. And hey, best of luck this weekend at Bowman Gray. Hopefully we do not see you in the B-Main.
Let's pray. I'll give anything not to be in the B-Main.
This is the Inside Lane. Be sure to keep it right here on Sports360AZ.com for everything coming up, including the Daytona 500 here in just a couple weeks.